Well, first of all, I recognize that it's a team effort. And it's always important to understand that it's a team effort. And it's part of being part of that team that makes us successful. Somerset has always been a community that has worked well together for us, in that we've had a listening relationship with the SANS community, and we've never taken a piece of SANS for granted. We've always looked at SANS saying that it's important that we understand those who voted for us and those who didn't vote for us, and look at SANS as being a collective body of people that we are responsible to. And the freshness that I bring is the same freshness that I've had all this time, in that I have never weaned away from that, and that I enjoy, and I stress I enjoy the relationship that I have with being able to interact with the SANS community, whether it's the members of the community who have been voting for me years ago, the members who are just first on this year's register as first-time voters who will be voting for me. I enjoy the exchange that I have visiting in those households, whether it's with the senior members who we can sit and talk about what was done to establish the strength of the PLP in Somerset, or whether it's a first-time voter who is talking and sitting and talking about their issues as they see from a new set of eyes the understanding of politics and SANS and the people who represent SANS and the issues of SANS. And it's being able to always go in there with a fresh approach, understanding that each issue is a new issue to that individual. And we have to come expecting, whether it's an issue we've heard before, whether it's an issue that we've participated in the past in trying to bring resolution to that new voter, to that voter who is discussing it, it's a fresh issue, and we need to take it with a fresh approach. And it's being on your toes in that regard, and knowing that each person, that issue is that valuable to that person, and you have to respect it from that perspective. I'm pleased with the party's position as far as the new administration wanting to embrace the green technology and new technology, and looking at how we can embrace that into Bermuda. And as I said earlier in my speech, I'm very much involved in green technology, and I see it as part of the new frontier of providing opportunity to Bermudians for jobs and further growth for Bermudian as far as the technology itself is concerned. So that's being on the front line of trying to stay fresh in the vision of what new technology and where the new eras that we live in are moving towards.
Do you see the correctional facility situation as something that you could bring some assembly water to?
Mr. Webb, may I take the first part of your question on freshness? Of course, if by freshness you mean it comes with a price tag, then I have to respond that we have to operate within the current context. If anything, fresh means more money, then the current climate is not one where we can introduce some wish list. So it's steady as we go, doing as much as we possibly can with what we have. The initiative that I mentioned at the top of my remarks of the replacement home project, that will be new and fresh for many people, that will resonate with people who are looking for the housing to be delivered. Every voter brings to the proposition, every new voter, every 18-year-old brings to the proposition some new, fresh experience of interacting with PLP politics and PLP politicians. And so there's always something fresh going on, involving them in the process. Hard projects, the Heritage Wharf, each day when the vessels arrive, they bring interesting challenges. I meet with young black entrepreneurs up there delivering IT projects for our visitors who are coming off of the vessels in the thousands. And so there are excellent opportunities supported by REDCO for fresh entrepreneurship. The EEZ, the Somerset EEZ proposition and SANS 360, although I'm in my colleagues' constituency, we listened carefully to SANS 360. And we've listened in connection with the Leafroy project of ensuring that the Leafroy House is funded again in this current budget as best as we can to ensure that we support the good work of Mrs. Masters and her team. I'm not going to comment on the Attorney General's issue. If you tune in now to HOT, you'll hear the Attorney General doing an excellent job at dealing with this issue, and I'm not going to muddy the waters.
We can't
Some time ago, I think maybe a year to 18 months ago, there was some talk about a private concern putting an assisted living community in the dockyard area. Any new news on that?
That is the, if I hear you correctly, Arnold, that is the replacement home project, replacement home project of 100 modular, low construction cost homes to replace the homes on Top Road, Cochrane Road, and the homes opposite the cemetery. There's more to come, and I would like to just keep my powder dry on that, because that will be an important announcement.
Okay. Mr. Lister.
Yes.
Sales 360 is your project.
Yeah.
Have you had any inquiries from other ends of the island as to the success and possibly modeling Sales 360 in another part of the island?
Well, in my opening address, when I made reference to Sands being a leader, we see this one area we can set the stage again to be an example to the rest of the island, where other communities can develop a 360 sampling what was done in Sands. I don't think Sands should stand alone as the only facility of that in the island. But we have opportunity in other communities for other communities to come together, excuse me, as the governing body of Sands did, and put their facility available for it to be developed as it is. And I think for all who have visited it, we'll say that it is an excellent facility of excellent programs being run as a reach out to our community. And the simple answer is yes, the need for it, other communities to embrace such a program does exist, and we in Sands would like to see other communities do, other parishes do likewise.
Will we see Sands be the first totally green school off the grid?
Well, that's, you're talking earlier, but you know, it's an opportunity that may present itself, and if it does, I'm sure Sands will set the example. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have two questions, Mr. Lister.
Yes.
The taxpayers gave $2 million to Sands.
Mm-hmm.
I may be the only one. I'm not quite sure what that money was for. I mean, it said capital work.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never been really clear on the details of that.
Okay.
Since the facility was already built.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that injection needed?
Well, as any facility, there is an ongoing cost, operational cost that has to be incurred. Sands has, the project at Sands 360 is one that's based off of donations and community support and other support. And government has seen fit to put this money forward to be part of that support that makes the success of that program on an ongoing basis. Some of the money is for facilities, and they need it just to keep the facility maintained and continue to finish off and upgrade some things that were required. And then some of it, of course, would be part of the ongoing expense that goes on. I don't know the all intricates, so I don't want to tell you the intricacy of how the funding or their use of that funding, but it's funding that will be well spent, because the program is an excellent program that needs to be embraced and should be embraced by us all.
How much of it do you think went to build?
Well, the facility or the program itself, 360, has debt like any other development would of this day. I'm sure there's no such development that would have built today free of debt. So part of being a responsible government is to assist them with their debt. And that's exactly what this part of that fund would be used for, hopefully.
And my second question is,
Sure.
the House recently debated parliamentary election amendment.
Mm-hmm.
And the point was made that we don't actually have the system of absentee voting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like to ask, this is to the Premier, what can you say to students abroad who are concerned that they may not actually get the opportunity to vote for the next election? Any words of reassurance?
I think, Mr. Johnson, the words of reassurance that I provided in the House would provide tremendous comfort. What I said is that what we're doing is advancing parliamentary electoral reforms, and we also are increasing the opportunity for there to be advanced polls across more than one day. So this certainly helps to further arm those who wish to vote and who may be traveling, depending on when an election is called, to be able to vote prior to that time. However, what you would have also recalled me saying was the fact that what we are not going to do is to provide a system which could be conducive to rampant corruption and fraud prior to having the necessary building blocks in place. And I trust that will assist somewhat.
Well, I mean, students not
I think I have answered your question, Mr. Johnson.
Can I have the follow-up?
No, you can't.